Hey, you're listening to a Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0. It's your host, Grady Hooker. We'll jump straight into this day in history, 15th of November. WWF had 3 Madison Square Garden shows. In 1965, Bobo Brazil and Waldo Von Erich fought to a draw. In 1971, Pedro Morales retained his WWF Championship against Freddie Blassie. And in 1997, Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Undertaker teamed together to defeat the team of Hunter, Hearst, Helmsley and Shawn Michaels. In 1998, WWF Survivor Series was one of the only 2 pay-per-views to not have a classic Survivor Series match, but they did have the Deadly Games WWF Championship Tournament. And in the final, The Rock turned villain on Mankind and helped create the first corporation incarnation. In 1999, there was the Monday Night Wars. On Nitro, 15 matches, laxatives, brownies, and a poor Jim Ross lookalike. And then over on Raw, The Rock and the Big Boss Man put on a good match to main event it. In 2004, we had a WWE Raw. Maven chooses not to join Evolution, but then fails to win the title off Triple H after Evolution interfere. In 2009, TNA Turning Point, AJ Styles retained his TNA Championship against both Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe. And in 2010, we had an old school Raw. A lot of legends took on current wrestlers, including Mae Young defeating Lay Cool. So we'll jump into the classic entrance theme of the week. It's Rick Rude. And you're back, Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady Hooker, and live via Skype right now, I've got Josh.
Yep.
So, CM Punk actually started off Raw in a match against Luke Harper.
Yeah, the rare match opening Raw. They had a pretty good match. I really like Luke Harper. I don't know if he can have some type of character to him. Other than being the puppet of Bray Wyatt. But I do know I like him in the ring.
Yeah. Punk actually managed to steal the win and get one up over the Wyatts with a roll-up, but straight after that, the Wyatt family viciously attacked him.
Yeah, but Daniel Bryan came out with the great equalizer.
Yeah.
Although it was funny watching him try to swing that thing with one arm.
I think definitely from that and the rest of the stuff that happens throughout Raw and SmackDown, it's fairly obvious these guys are on a collision course.
Yeah, we don't know what variation. We possibly managed to see a regular tag team match. We could see anything from that to a 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. Or if they want to get the Shield involved, a 6-on-6 Survivor Series match, which would be the first time ever.
We're making it large. Why don't we just go 7-on-7?
We've seen that before with the Nexus, though.
Oh, okay.
Not at Survivor Series.
So you have such a good memory.
And also bragging rights.
True. There was quite a few interviews tonight. The first one was CM Punk saying he's not going to back down against the Wyatts. I guess we kind of just talked about that. But the next one was Paul Heyman on the phone.
Are you crying, Paul?
I think he was crying.
And of course there was the, are you there, Paul? No, I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm here. Those were hilarious.
So I don't know when we'll be seeing Paul back on TV, but he seems to definitely be playing up the injuries he took.
It also makes you wonder what's Ryback's status in the Paul Heyman group.
Well, talking about Ryback, jumping straight into the next match, he actually took on the Great Khali.
Who in their right mind thought this would be a decent match?
I don't think anyone did.
Well, at least it was short.
Yeah. And Ryback picked up the win, so maybe he's got a little more favour with Heyman. He did just defeat a former world heavyweight champ.
Going back to his bully character.
Yeah, he definitely pulled a promo that definitely seemed like that.
But yeah, Hornswoggle was wearing a cake. That was funny.
Yeah. And then
But of course, the line of the whole thing was Santino's, "You know I don't eat carbs after 6, Ryback."
yeah. Um, the next match, Kofi Kingston, Alberto Del Rio.
And Kofi keeps trudging along in that rut he's stuck in.
I don't think you can call it a rut when he's been stuck in it for everything except 2 months of his career.
That's the definition of a rut.
Fair enough. It stopped for a little bit. But yeah, we see Alberto Del Rio laying claim that he's still here.
And he will be the World Heavyweight Champion again.
Blah, blah, blah.
Because the Mexican people demand it.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're trying to start something for Rey Mysterio. I just hope that it's not for the world title. Because do you realize this? In every match on pay-per-view that has been for the World Heavyweight Championship this year, Alberto Del Rio has been in it on pay-per-view.
Wow. That's
the only pay-per-view that he was not in a match for a World Heavyweight Championship match was because the World Heavyweight Champion was concussed.
Well,
and that was back at Extreme Rules.
That is sad.
And that match would have been for the World Heavyweight Championship if it had not been if Dolph Ziggler had not been concussed.
Wow. Well, we'll move on to a slightly happier note. Big Show taking on WWE in a lawsuit. And they had quite a bit of evidence.
Yeah, they kept harping on this all night long. Whether it be JBL on reasons he should be banned for life versus the promo that they kept showing for the reasons in which he behind Big Show's lawsuit.
Yeah.
You knew this was coming to a head at the end of the show.
Definitely. When they can't shut up about something, it just has to be coming up.
Yep. Unless they're talking about a cash-in of the briefcase.
Unless they're... Or talking about Michael Cole's most favourite thing to talk about, the WWE frickin' app. Your favourite won the poll.
Yeah, I accidentally voted for The Miz. I was trying to vote for Big E, and the Miz's and Big E's were right next to each other, and I clicked down to click on Big E, and it clicked Miz.
And
I'm like, ah!
Somehow Big E Langston actually got like a landslide victory over the others.
Yeah, he had 75% of the vote.
Although he did lose the match.
Ziggler and Miz in the voting. That right there should tell WWE the fans are behind this kid.
Yeah.
And then he goes out and has a kick-ass match with Randy Orton.
Yeah.
I really, really liked that match. It went 12, 13 minutes. And I think Big E is getting to get on that level where he's about to get to the main event areas.
Okay.
Upper mid-card main event area.
Fair enough.
He's my dark horse to win the Royal Rumble.
I could see that, yeah.
And can go on and challenge the World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania.
Makes sense. Up next, there was a mixed tag match. Tyson Kidd and his wife Natalia taking on Fandango and Mrs. Fandango.
Tyson Kidd is back.
Yep.
Woo! And not in a mask where he's pretending to be a local Spanish wrestler.
Yeah, quite happy about that. I think
But
by
you're not
his
too
expression.
happy about something else.
What?
The tights.
Oh, the tights. I'm just gonna throw my opinion on the tights away for a little while. I don't want to rant for the rest of our half an hour over it.
But yeah, this was a good little match. Makes you wonder if they're going to continue the the battle or not. Possibly you could possibly see something between Fandango and Tyson Kidd. Natalia seems to be going after AJ. I don't quite know where she's going.
It seems all of the divas appear to be in a jumble.
Yeah. So I'm not quite sure where they're going with that.
Okay, well, I said earlier there were a lot of interviews. Here's our, third one for the night. Damian Sandow and the Real Americans.
This was a good little segment. It really got Sandow part of it, and I still don't know why he's not part of the World Heavyweight Championship match. It would have made sense to me to add him in.
I still think he'll be added.
I don't think he will be.
Let him be added.
Maybe they're just going to wait and hold off Sandow until TLC and let him challenge Cena by himself.
Maybe. But talking about Cena, he was in the upcoming match. Cena and the Rhodes Brothers took on Sandow and the Real Americans.
As great as this match was on SmackDown the previous week, this match topped that.
Yeah.
This match was the match of the night and is one of the matches of the year.
Okay.
Overall. This was a fantastic match.
You got to give full credit to the guys in the match. They are quite good competitors.
Yeah, because you had Cena, Goldust, Cody Rhodes, Damian Sandow, Antonio Salazar, and then Jack Swagger.
Let's not pick out here.
One of those things just does not belong with the other five.
One of these things isn't like the other. Up next, Ziggler took on Curtis Axel and actually defeated the Intercontinental Champ.
Could this mean a championship match for Ziggler in the future?
I'd say back in the old days that's what he would have just earned himself.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And we'll have to see if that match does take place, if Ziggler can manage to wrestle the Intercontinental Championship away from Axel or not.
He has held it for a while and not done much with it.
Yeah.
Talking about a guy who held the Intercontinental Championship and didn't do much with it, we'll jump into the current entrance theme of the week. It's Wade Barrett.
God save our Queen.
And you're back, Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0. Grady and Josh will jump straight into Raw where we left off. Another interview backstage, this time with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, it was basically echoing the words CM Punk used earlier.
Yeah, it's definitely leading on to their Collision Course Survivor Series. There'll be some form of match with Punk, Bryan, and the Wyatts.
Yeah.
We'll
have to see where they go. It's just, I'm just hoping that there's a big plan out of all of this.
Hopefully. Tag team match. The Usos took on 3MB.
Somebody other than Los Matadors is facing 3MB? Oh, wow!
But the 3MB still aren't picking up the victory.
Yeah, well, what do you expect? 3MB sucks.
Hey, everyone but Drew sucks. Drew's the chosen one.
Drew sucks by association.
No, look. I just muted you. Skype call ended. Finishing the show on my own now. There was another interview with Los Matadores. El Torito was featured, and I think the Los Matadores actually said El Torito is horny, and I think they cut away from the interview, sort of like I just cut away from Josh right now. He's probably talking into his microphone, doesn't know he's muted. Let's see if Josh is ready to apologize. Josh, you ready to apologize? I'll take that as an apology.
This is the first thing El Torito has done that I've hated.
Okay.
I felt so sorry for Renee during that segment because Renee has been professional the entire time she's been with the WWE and has done nothing even remotely close to this type of a segment.
Fair enough.
This type of segment is usually reserved for somebody like Josh Matthews, who's done plenty of stuff like this.
Yeah.
So I really did not like this interview.
Okay. Well, next was a match I'm guessing you didn't like either. 6-woman action. The Bella Twins and Eva Marie took on AJ, Tamina, and Oksana.
Yeah, it was an okay Divas match until the very end of the match.
What, where Eva Marie won?
Yeah,
What's wrong with that?
because Eva Marie doesn't deserve to be in the ring, first off. Second off, she doesn't deserve to be beating a talented diva like Tamina.
Fair enough. The main event segment of the night, The Authority versus Big Show.
There was a really weird commercial break in the middle of this segment.
I noticed that. I heard Triple H went off his rocker.
Yeah. This was this was the segment you knew was coming. You knew the Big Show was getting his job back, and you pretty much expected that the Big Show was going to get a world title match.
He
with Grady.
got the world's largest bonus.
Yeah. So you knew this was happening, but it just the whole Shield when they cued the music for Shield and then they go to commercial and I'm like, what the?
Yeah, it was definitely weird.
What it was they ran long on the segment and they still had one commercial break.
Okay. Well,
and so Triple H did go ballistic on a headset during the commercial break.
but yeah, for Triple H to get his own back against Big Show, he did set up the final match of the night, 4-on-1 handicap match.
Yep. Which the 4 got their advantage, and the Big Show started fighting back, and then out comes Corporate Kane.
Oh god.
Kane
Kill it, stab it with a knife.
And I'm like, wow. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
That was a neat little difference. And, you know, he doesn't look that bad in a suit.
No, sadly.
And then they just end the show with the Authority standing tall over Big Show.
Yep. Okay, well, if we jump over into SmackDown, it started off with CM Punk again.
Against the Intercontinental Champion and beating the Intercontinental Champion again.
Yeah. Heyman should just, ditch these guys, get a few new guys.
Yeah.
But,
And then we have another tag team match.
Shush. 3MB took on the Usos and R-Truth for a 6-man tag.
And Jinder takes the fall. I hope they do split 3MB up, because this has been a complete and total failure.
Yep. Heath was good enough as a one-man band for a comedy session.
Yeah, especially when he was going up against the Legends every week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, up next, another tag team match. The Funkadactyls took on AJ Lee and Tamina.
This was a decent Divas match. Cameron being the only person that doesn't really belong in the ring with as far as talent-wise.
Okay.
But it was, and it continues to build the strength for AJ over the Total Divas.
I think the Total Diva she's having the most trouble with is definitely Natalya.
Yeah. Hopefully they have a collision course for the title here soon.
Okay. Well, we've got Alberto Del Rio making a shitty little promo where Cena comes in and sort of saves it.
Yeah, basically it's... He stole the championship from me. I'm mad. Wah!
And then Vicky sets the championship rematch for Survivor Series.
Yep. And then we get a crappy Alberto Del Rio Giant Khali match.
Yes, but Khali taps out to the cross arm breaker. Khali's not having a good week.
No, he's not. But then SmackDown is saved by the main event. By the main event matches.
Yeah. The first of which, Daniel Bryan takes on Luke Harper.
Which was a pretty good match. You knew it wasn't going to end with a clean victory for Bryan. But Punk came out and did the save just as Daniel Bryan had done the previous Raw.
Yeah, this seems like Tag Team Feud Booking 101.
And then we had the main event of the evening, which was actually one of Ryback's best matches against John Cena.
No, you just used the words Ryback and good match in a sentence. That does not compute.
Well, I think that's more on John Cena's end than Ryback, though.
Yeah.
But I've liked what I've seen from Cena from his return, because he's definitely using a lot of moves that he isn't known for, such as that front power slam, a power bomb, running Hurricanrana.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure like, a while back the internet was definitely bashing him for just having his 5 moves that he'd always do over and over.
And since coming back, he's been trying his best to pretty much shatter that stigma. And he's been putting on good matches as a result.
Yeah, so maybe I can start liking the guy.
I've always respected the guy. I mean, to go out there as many times as they do, about 300 times a year, and pretty much just give everything he's got for the company every single day for the fans, I have to respect him.
Yeah, but respect and liking are 2 different things.
True.
I respect the guy as a person, as his character, everything he does, like Make-A-Wish, wrestling, everything. But it's Cena.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's been great talking to you, Josh. And in birthdays this week, we got quite a good spread. Cowboy Bob Orton, Randy Orton's dad, turns 63. The Macho Man, Randy Savage, passed away in 2011. Mr. A $, Billy Gunn, he turns 50. Current NXT trainers Bill DeMott and Sara Del Rey turn 47 and 33. Former WWE and TNA diva Katie Lee Burchill, or you might know her as Winter, turns 33. Crystal Marshall, former WWE and TNA diva, turns 30. A couple of current guys, Sweet Tea Tensai turns 41. The Human Wrecking Ball Ryback turns 32. And Y2J Chris Jericho turns 43. And in a New Zealand recap for this week, we just had PWWA's Lumberjack Men in Tights show. There were a couple of New Zealand wrestlers over in Australia competing for that. In 6-man tag team action, IPW champion Vinnie Dunn was on the losing side, and he seems to have grazed a little bit of his whibs. But in better news, Fatal 4-Way for the PWWA Championship, Evie managed to retain, beating Jessie McKay, Shazza McKenzie, and Michelle Hasluck. And over back in New Zealand now, Linfield Rec Centre this Saturday, IPW Nightmare Road, last chance. So far there are only 3 matches announced for it. We got the 6-man tag team match, TNT and Alfred Valentine take on the IPW tag team champs, Agents of Chaos and Kurt Chaos. It's going to be a singles match. Travis Banks' returning match after coming back from America is going to be taken on Ty Cade. And the IPWNZ Women's Championship will be on the line when Emmy Driver steps in the ring for the first time to take on her challenger Evie. Probably more announced at this point, but since we pre-record, can't get you all of it. Should be a great show. You should go get up there, down, left, right, wherever you live. Get to Linfield Rec Centre this Saturday. IPW Nightmare Road. That's it for this week. Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady, Hooker and Josh. You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling R Radio. I'll see you next week.